She's been there, done that, and now she's set for the big leap. On Duologue NXT, I discover how Fauda is just a starting point for the next action Rona-Lee Shimon is gearing up for in her career and her life. How does this dancer, gymnast and actor take her fame to the next level? Let's stream it. This is Duologue NXT with me, Barun. Rona-Lee, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Welcome to India
Thank you.
and welcome to Duologue NXT.
Thank you.
To start with, Rona-Lee, did you always know what you want to be when you were growing up? I know your career, you were a dancer at a very, very young age. Then you had that brilliant scholarship, Royal Ballet School of Amsterdam. And then you wanted to join IDF. And then you came back on the stage, and then you moved to acting.
Yeah.
Was it always known to you that where you are heading to?
That's an interesting question. I've asked myself that numerous times because I always wondered if I found dance and performing arts or it was my calling, whether it was something that was set up for me or, you know, the question about fate always comes to my mind. Like, was this my fate? Because I started from such an early age, and I know a lot of people around me don't necessarily know from a young age what they're good at. And for me, it was very, very clear. I found myself, I found my spirit, I found my curiosity in first of all, in ballet. The strictness of ballet did good for me.
Were you taking each day at a time? Did you have that long-term vision or long-term idea that where you are heading to?
I think that specifically in ballet, because I started very, very young, I didn't see much. There was no social media, right? So I couldn't see. Yeah, thankfully, right? I feel very blessed that I didn't have that. But the world wasn't as open as it is today. So I didn't have the vision. I didn't know where this could take me. And it was when I got to Amsterdam is when my mind kind of like opened up to the world. It was the first time that I felt that I knew that there was a big world out there for me and for my career. I was 22, I got back to Israel. I got to a show called So You Think You Can Dance,
yes.
The Israeli version.
Yes.
And I was invited to the audition, and I remember I was so stressed. I was so insecure. I wasn't, you know, I didn't believe in myself that much.
Did you win that?
No, I got to 5th place.
And then what happened? So the day the results were out and you were out of the competition, the 4 more are going to compete there because you're the 5th.
Yeah, they continued with the competition and the production company that was doing the show. They also have a production company for TV series, and they were like, "Come tomorrow to the office. We want to audition you for one of the lead roles in our TV show." And I was like, "Okay, I'll come." And I came to the audition the day after, or 2 days after it was. And I sat on the audition couch in front of the writer and the director of the show. And it was like a maybe 20-minute scene, like 2 scenes with the lead actor. And after 20 minutes, they looked at each other, and they're like, "Congratulations." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "The role, it's yours." And I'm like, "I'm not sure I understand I'm like, "If I call my mom, can I tell her that I got the role?" And they're like, "Yes."
From there, you took to acting.
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
I filmed 2 series of that show. And I realized the more I did it, every day I came to set, I was like, I think I have potential, but something is missing. And I didn't know what I needed in order to get better. And
You didn't know what you needed, but
no,
you
I
felt
didn't know.
that you need something.
Yes, I felt like I needed
Some
a
guidance.
guided
Yeah.
hand,
Right.
something to get better. And something about myself is I think when I realize I need something, I generally know where to go to reach for that help in order to get better. I think it's the universe helping me. And I think it's also my curiosity of like, who do I look up to? Who do I want to be my mentor? And I remember asking a friend of mine who was an actor on the show, and she told me about this drama school. It was a very big drama school, but I wasn't in that world. I knew like every dance company, but I didn't know the acting world. And I called the headmaster of the school and I said, I'm interested in coming to learn in your school. And he gave me a tour at the school. And I walked into that school and I was like, I still felt like I wasn't over with dance. And so I was like, I'll just do like a course, like maybe a course or two, and I'll see how I feel. And by the middle of the course, I went to see one of my teachers in their theater play. It was The Father by Ibsen. And I think it's only like 3 or 4 actors on the show. And I looked at my teacher and I was like, this is it. So there was an opportunity at the end of my second year. I was invited by the National Theater to replace one of the main actresses on a show. And my headmaster in the school really didn't like it. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not letting any other student work outside of the school. I'm not gonna let you be the first and kind of disobey me in front of I can't. I know you're my best student, but I can't give you this, I can't allow this to happen. And I begged him. I called him for like, I think a week straight. And I was like, look, you know my work ethic. I'm one of the only students who sleeps at the school and wakes up an hour early to clean the floor. I know what I'm doing. I'm never gonna disappoint you. I'm not gonna take this lightly. I'm gonna work you're not even gonna know that I'm not in school. And he was like, you know what? If you think you can do it, I trust you. You've proven yourself so far and let's see how that works. And I did it. And it was also the theater that I wanted to be a member of after school. So for me, it was like, I cannot let this opportunity, leave my sight. And so I begged and he said yes. And then I didn't leave school. I did everything kind of.
You managed the
I managed.
time, yeah.
I managed it all.
So that is another one that never take no as an answer if you're convinced otherwise.
Yes.
And if you're honest
Yes.
about what you're asking for,
Yes.
don't take no as an answer,
Exactly.
right?
And then by the time I finished school, I did a few productions in school. I did Chicago. I did Three Sisters by Chekhov, and another 2 plays. And then by the time that was over, I got a call from the manager of the theater. And he's like, I really loved what you did for us on that show. And now I have a role. We're doing cabaret. And obviously the lead role has been given to one of the actresses in the theater, but I would love you to do the chorus, the lead dancer in the chorus. And by then I was 20, I think 7 or 8. And it was him in the room and the producer of the theater and my agent and me. So me and 3 men. And I said, thank you for even considering me to be in your show. I'm very, very grateful, but I'm not doing chorus. If you want me, I will be an understudy for the lead role, but I'm not doing chorus. And then through the grapevine, someone whispered like, the lead actress in Cabaret is pregnant. She's gonna need an understudy. And the world just stopped. The world stopped. I was like, this is my opportunity. This is what I've dreamt of a year ago. This is it, it's happening. And I remember I went to the library of the theater and I bought the disc and I bought the play. And it took me like a week and a half, 2 weeks to study it. And I called the producer who sat in the room a year earlier and I was like, I heard that you might need a replacement.
The same producer?
Yeah.
One of the three men?
Yeah.
Okay. This time one-on-one, a
Yeah,
man
I just
and a
called him
woman?
up.
Okay.
I called him up and I said, I heard that you might need an understudy. And just for you to know, I'm ready. I'm ready to go on stage tomorrow. And then I premiered with another show in the theater. And the headmaster of the theater came up to me at the end of the show and he's like, he held my hand. He's like, a brilliant job. I want to hear you sing. And I was like, this is my opportunity. And his assistant called me the day after and she's like, he wants to hear you sing. So tomorrow after your show, there's gonna be a pianist in this room waiting for you and come after your show and you know, they're gonna ask you to do whatever. And I was like, okay. And I was just I was ready and I was anxious and everything with my body was just so warmed up to go. And I remember, you know, being in the room and waiting for the headmaster and he walked in and he's like, so what would you like to sing? And I'm like, you choose, I know all the songs. And he's like, you know all the songs? I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, sing Maybe This Time. And I was like, okay. And I sang it. And he's like, now sing Come to the Cabaret. And I sang that as well. And he said nothing on his face. I couldn't read whether I was doing well or not. And he's like, okay, thank you. And he left the room. And I was like, well, this was my shot. I don't know where this is gonna go, but I planted a seed. Maybe in the future, something will happen. And I got a call a week after saying that I got the part. And then I got an audition for something amazing. I read the text and I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is it.
Are you thinking of bringing any change in your approach to take your career from now on?
That's a brilliant and a very deep question.
It is simply brilliant. You know, those who are watching this show, there's so much learning in what you just said, that you had that belief and conviction in you. You worked towards it, and you didn't take no as an answer.
Yeah.
You went to the last thread, the last line, and you completed the finish line. It's amazing. So what happened after that?
What happens after that? I remember after being very... You know, I proved myself very much so doing that show.
How many times it was staged while you were the leader?
I think I've done 20 times of that show until she came back. But for me, I was barely a year in that theater, and getting such a huge opportunity, for me, it was a game changer because it put me on the map as a leading actress in the theater, and I was starting to be treated that way. And after a while, I started really craving TV and cinema.
So you made your ground, you stood on a firm base.
Exactly.
So that you can take the call.
Exactly.
So that's another nice way of taking your
controlling
career.
my narrative.
Yes, control your.
Yes.
Like, if it is to be, it is up to me. You control your own destiny.
Exactly.
And everybody says that if you are negotiating and and you're desperate, you'll always lose the negotiation.
Yes.
Whoever is more desperate.
Exactly. You don't have a leverage. If
Yeah.
you're desperate, you don't have a leverage.
So then you started choosing roles?
Yeah, so I told my agent, and she was with me for many years, and I kept saying no to things that I was offered or for auditions, and I'm like, man, it's not good enough. Like, I don't want to do this. And then I got an audition for something amazing. I read the text, and it was one scene, and I read it, and my stomach was turned, and it had no name. I didn't know what it was about. It was like a secret project. And I read it, and I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is it. And I went to the audition, and I sat across from Avi Sakharov. I didn't know that he was the creator of Fauda, but we did the audition, and I did the scene, and it was over, and no one said anything. And they just kept looking at each other, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And they're like, nothing. They said nothing. And I remember they called me a month after, and they sent me the scripts, and it was Fauda. And
then the rest is history.
And the rest is history, yeah.
I believe that you would be contemplating in your career going forward in two dimensions. One, maybe, obviously, now there are other industries, film industries like Hollywood or Indian film, Bollywood, etc. I mean, you're just tailor-made for Bollywood, how to dance, and if you have to be successful in Bollywood, even Southern cinema, which is Indian cinema, being a dancer is always helpful, and then obviously
Sure.
you have the talent and the looks. But what about Hollywood? That must be one of the areas that you want to explore.
Sure.
Are you also thinking of getting into co-production where, slowly that'll give you an option of transitioning from in front of the camera to behind the camera? Is that your thought too?
It's always been my thought, always. My dream is to maybe eventually even direct theater. It's not enough today, in the world of today, to just be an actor. You have to produce your own material. You have to be on top of it. And as a woman in that world, I think there are so many roles for men and not enough. I mean, I have to say that the past 6 years has been great difference than what it was when I grew up in the business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's changing a lot, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to look for the right part, to look for the right, it's just, this puzzle is just so magical and unknown, and so many pieces to the puzzle. Like, it needs to be good and in your value system, and something that intrigues you and challenges you, and has to be written well, and has to be, so much to the pie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I tell you that what I understood from you so far, you started taking each day at a time, then you took each phase at a time. You focused on the phase and then moved on, and then you reinvented yourself when you reached the peak. Now, sitting here, I could say that, which is what I said in the beginning of the show, that it could be an inflection point for you, or it could be a springboard where you are standing and you are ready to take the next big leap to the next level. Are you going to make any changes in your approach? Like, do you think it would help you to be a little more academic in your approach? Like, have it worked out that this is the roadmap? These are the various steps that I will sort of predetermine and put a timeline to that. They're not sacrosanct, but if the goals are there in front of me, I would be able to understand that with respect to the goal that I fostered in my mind, whether I'm well off or I'm trailing. So are you thinking of bringing any change in your approach to take your career from now on?
That's a brilliant and a very deep question. I feel like I've been dealing with this question a lot, especially after the current situation in my country, because I feel like that changed the fabric of who we were before, and how we take on life, and how much ahead you can even plan. So these are questions that are a lot on my mind, and being pregnant now is also a game changer for me, and I don't know what that would look like for me. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm ready to rest from strategy. So I hear your question. It's one of the most important questions of this specific time in my life as far as career goes. But I have to say, it's like, I don't know how to answer that. I
Right.
feel like because I'm allowing myself to kind of rest to sink in and immerse myself and be really in the moment and stop. I've worked until 2 months ago. I didn't even have the time to, it's not a long maternity leave. And so I feel like I'm relaxing into this, and I feel like the universe is kind of praising me for my courage. And the one thing that I pray for every day is to get the right knowledge and the right right answers for questions I don't even know to ask.
Right. So if I may add to that,
please.
You are in a better position to understand. I think it would be better for you as an option that this is a very important phase, that you need to give your 200% attention there, which you're obviously giving.
Yeah.
I can see that. And thank you very much for visiting us during that time. Once you've delivered your baby, I think that is the time it'll automatically dawn to you that what next?
Yes.
Your focus would shift back to yourself.
Yes.
But my suggestion would be, if you can have a drawing board, either mental drawing board or physical.
Yes.
Just work out the steps a little bit. They are not sacrosanct. If they don't follow your intentions, reality doesn't follow your intentions, that's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But it'll keep you on the track.
A roadmap.
A roadmap,
yes.
which should not be a pressure that I'm not getting there. Which
sure.
is like a guiding force, which is like some kind of a map that you can navigate through.
Is that how you operate in your life?
Yes,
you feel
mostly.
Did you always trust yourself? Because being a manager, you have to always make decisions, right? You have to know
that's right.
that your decision is the best one in the room.
Right.
Or maybe, with taking consideration of other people's experience around you. But at the end of the day, it's you.
Yes. So I like you saw that if it is to be, it is up to me. I have coined a few one-liner, two-liners, which are my guiding principles in my life. So for instance, I believe that there is no correct decision in life. You have to take a decision and make it correct. So do not
I
weigh.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
Yes. So you do not weigh too much on which is right, which is wrong. Many times, I'm not an intuitive person. I am more like a strategist. I need to see things with data analysis, and I'm very fast with that. So it's not that I go back and do a research and come back and take a decision. I take a decision based on the facts and figures that I have, and I always take inputs from everybody around me. I hear out everyone.
Yes.
But finally, I take the decision, and that drives me. First of all, one, it might make you a little arrogant, but I believe lacking confidence is not as good as being arrogant. If I have to choose that this person is arrogant and he lacks confidence, I would choose the person who is arrogant.
Yes.
So I never lacked confidence, and I believed in that I'm taking this decision, and this will turn out to be correct. I will have to make it correct.
Yes.
So failure is never an option in my mind, whatever I do, whatever I want to do.
Wow, that's inspiring.
Yeah, and if I fail, then I, like you said that after the audition, so be it. Nothing goes wasted in life.
Exactly.
You take the learning from there.
Exactly.
And move forward.
Yes.
I want to go through our rapid fire questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
One thing about fame that you secretly enjoy. A couple of couplets or a couple of lines of any song.
Can I sing it in Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I want to say some of your words of wisdom which young women like you, the way you have taken your career, the way you have progressed in your career, who are at an earlier age, earlier stage of their career, let's say early 20s or late 20s, they would benefit from? So something that you want to pass on as an advice.
Try to see clear what it is you're willing to fight for. What is the thing that you're willing to not sleep over? What is the thing you're willing to come first in the morning and leave last at night? What is the thing that you're willing to work the hardest in the room? For me, I've always been the hardest working woman in the room. Always.
Also to know what they want.
Yes. I think knowing what you want is the first to see the strategy, and then it clears in your heart what you're willing to work so hard for, and not take no for an answer.
You know, this is something I think for the first time I'm going to try. I want to go through our rapid fire questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Bollywood dream co-star.
Shakar Kapoor.
Shakar Kapoor. A Hebrew word every Indian fan should learn.
Sababa.
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 That is what? Brilliant.
It means like all good.
All good. One thing about fame that you secretly enjoy.
I have to say that now that I'm pregnant, everybody's so nice to me.
Nice. Top on your watch list today.
Wow. I just watched 0 Day with Robert De Niro.
Oh my word. Oh. Ultimate, right?
Wow, the layers of what he does is incredible.
Tel Aviv or Goa?
I mean, I guess for vacation, Goa, for sure. It's amazing.
Stage or screen? Forever.
Ooh,
preference.
But that's like choosing one of your kids over the other. That's like not fair.
What a lovely answer. I take back the question. Secret guilty pleasure after a long shoot?
Chocolate.
Excellent. Finally, a cabaret song or any other favorite songs of yours? Would you like to sing a couple of couplets or a couple of lines of any song?
Can I sing it in Hebrew?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
אם הפעם הוא הגיע, האחד שנשאר. אם הפעם זו הפעם, בה הלב לא נשבר.